Thank you, and thank you for having me here and for the opportunity to present the leyo project to you. Leyo is the brand of a book series of the Carlsen Company which deals with augmented reality. In the leyo project, we tried to combine analog books and digital enhancements. I will show it to you later on, of course, but I think also my role in this context is more maybe to show how innovations or new technologies could come to market. And because I'm working for a company and we have to earn money with the products, and that sometimes is a little bit difficult if you are dealing with innovation and new technologies and sophisticated technologies and all these things. So for those who don't know what Carlsen is one of the biggest children book publishers in Germany. And we also belong to a big company, to the Swedish Bonnier Group. And they are more than 200 years old now. They have 8,000 employees, and we are working in 14 countries. And this information is important because if you develop a project like we did it, you need a lot of money and you need a lot of resources. And I think most of the German publishers, book publishers especially, are too small to invest so much money and so much time into such a complex project. And inside of Carlsen, there is the leyo department. There we developed this project, but our CEO decided to make us to a kind of R&D department for the whole Bonnier company because he saw that we have built up so much know-how now concerning this augmented reality technology and also the virtual reality technology because they are very, very close. And he decided that we will have to develop this technology not only for the Carlsen Company, but also for the whole Bonnier publishing company. And therefore, we founded an AR Council, it's called. And a lot of people from all over Europe come to Hamburg, and we present our latest prototypes, and we discuss, and they think about whether they could use it for their publishing houses then. So, and if you are wondering why does a publishing house like Carlsen invest in such a technology, and I think I could give you the answer, it's a lot about motivation. What is the motivation of a publishing house to invest in such a sophisticated technology? And for us, there are two big drivers, I would say. It is, on the one hand, IoT, Internet of Things. We heard it this morning already. And the other thing is also a buzzword, but it's existing, the Generation Z. And if we are talking as a publishing house about Internet of Things, you may wonder what has Internet of Things to do with books. At the moment, everybody is talking about digitalization, and we have a lot of opportunities as a media house. You can do a lot of things which are digital. But the next step, the evolutionary step, will be the melting of everything, and especially of the analog and the digital world. You really won't see a thing in the near future which isn't enhanced by a kind of computer, which couldn't send data to somewhere, to a server or somewhere else. And if you look at the things which are in the world, there will be billions and billions of things, and they all will send data somewhere. So on the one hand, you have this big data. On the other hand, you have this melting of the analog and the digital world. And so I think in a few years, you won't be able to differentiate between analog and digital spheres, and you won't be able to say, is this a physical thing or is it already a device in a way? And some years ago, it was totally clear. You had the analog, the physical world, and you had the digital sphere. For example, if you look at the cars, you had the car, everything was mechanical. And you had the computers, and everything was digital. And now, these both worlds are melting. So a lot of people in the car industry think that their cars are the biggest devices ever. So they are producing mobile devices in a way now. And if you look at the marketing, you see that they are dealing with these connected car thing, and they rethink their own product. So the worlds are melting already. There is a technology which already could suggest this near future, and that is AR technology. So augmented reality, that means you have a reality, but it's augmented. There is something more in the reality, more than you can see. You get these additional informations, and you maybe can get some multimedia enhancements. I would say it is close related to the Internet of Things, and nearly every one of these big internet companies like Apple or Google or Microsoft, they are all having huge projects concerning augmented reality. And for example, when Apple bought Metaio is a German startup company and the only startup company which was ever bought in Germany from Apple was an AR startup company. So we said, hey, that is a sign. And all the others are also dealing with. For example, Sony is developing maybe contact lenses, which are working like a device then, or the Microsoft HoloLens, we saw it this morning already. And a HoloLens is, you see the reality, it's not like a virtual reality goggles, it's a real lens. You could see all the information surrounding you, but you get these additional informations. And in the front of the screen, you see a normal physical table. And as you all know, Microsoft has bought Minecraft, which is a very, very famous computer game for the kids. And they now try to implement it into the reality. And that looks like this.
Take an experience off the wall and then put it on the table over here. Create world. See Lydia, way up there.
As I run around and play, Sax can easily navigate and manipulate the world using his voice and his hands. He can walk around the hologram, pan around for different viewpoints, and even look inside.
Let's follow Lydia around for a bit. Follow player. I can zoom in and out for a better perspective.
So now he's explaining like it is working, but I think we can stop it at this point. But you see, the normal environment, the physical environment is now part of your game, and there is no chance to differentiate. And on the other hand, we have this Generation Z, and this Generation Z, they are real digital natives, but even more, they are mobile first, because the mobile devices, they don't have to learn to handle them. They don't have to think, oh, what is a touch or a tap? They are born with it. They are born into it. We are all these immigrants into this new mobile digital world. But for them, it is a part of themselves, maybe even. Some years ago on the ADC festival, I saw a person who was one of these internet prophets, I think, and he said, hey, do you know what a human being is in this Generation Z or Y or whatever? A human being is an accumulation of flesh and muscles, and in your hand you have this smartphone. But if you have forgotten it at home and you leave the home, and then you think this accumulation of muscle and flesh things oh my God, I'm missing something. I'm not a human being. I have to return. And then you take your smartphone and then you are again a human being. And in a sense, it's reality. It is this thing which enables nearly everything. It's what Mike Meret said this morning, this generation instant or something like that. So they are used to know everything via their smartphone. Everything is done with the smartphone. And it's not a device any longer. It's a part of their body. So that you have to realize the mobile revolution is already done. And what are they doing on their smartphones? As we all know, these 3 apps are the most important apps. It's Snapchat, it's Instagram, and it's YouTube. And all these apps are dealing with pictures and with moving pictures. And maybe that's the relationship to the moving types. It's not types, but it's pictures. And we, as a picture book producer, have to think about this. And the next thing, when it comes to Generation Z, what we have to think about is who is competing for the time of these kids? Is our competitor still the other publishing house, or are there other players which are competing for the time of these kids? And when I started with Carlsen, I went to the Gamescom. You all will know that. It's the biggest gaming fair in the world, I think, or maybe in Europe. And I took a small film, only 20 seconds. I will show it to you. And then I invented a kind of information event for our company. It's called 15 Minutes Digital Stand-Up. And each month, the whole staff, the 150 or 70 people, came together in the foyer, and they stand there, and for 15 minutes, I talk about latest digital developments in the world. And you know, the book industry is a little bit conservative concerning these new technologies, and these editors, they love books. We also love books, but they are in a very holy world. They are surrounded by very comfortable thinking, I would say. And then I showed them this. That is, I think Ubisoft or somebody else is launching a new product at the Gamescom. And you see our target group is standing in front of a stage, and just listen, and then you will think. So these companies are competing for the time of the kids. And then I wondered if I would have stood there and said, hey, who is interested in one of my products? You laugh. But yes, that is the situation you are confronted with. And then you have to rethink your product. Yeah, that was only a joke. But it is really difficult. And you can't live in a tunnel or look into only one direction, don't see what's happening around you. And so we know the main visual impression for these kids are moving images. And now if it comes to our product, a book is in the best sense static. And that is a kind of reliability which is transported because you can't change it. When it is printed, it becomes, in a way, eternal or something like that. That is a big, big advantage for all the books. Reliability, eternity, we love it. It's an advantage. And at the same time, it's a disadvantage when it comes to the Generation Z. So as a company facing these developments or movements, you have to think about your options. Maybe one option, and that is a serious option, is to preserve the status quo. I call it the vinyl record option. Because you can think, I stay in my market and I optimize my products. I do it better concerning the content, the quality. I try to lower the costs. I try to reach better prices, better distribution or marketing. But I'm hoping or knowing, we don't know, that there will always be customers and people who love books and they will buy them. There are a lot of publishers who are really convinced, and we are also really convinced that the printed book is one of the most beloved things also in the future. But if that is your strategy, maybe you have to rethink. It will stay a part of our business for the next 20, 40 years, but maybe you have to add something. So, yeah, the opportunity is to go into this new pure digital market. But then you are confronted with these companies, if you have seen them, like Ubisoft or EA Games, and it is very hard to establish a functional price model because the price levels in the App Store are nearly 5 times lower than in the bookstore. So for the physical products, we get much more money than for our digital products. And the visibility or awareness is a big, big problem for every publishing house because we don't have these possibilities to spend hundreds of thousands of euros into a marketing campaign or something like that. And also the relationship to the Apple App Store, for example, is very hard to establish because we are a very, very small partner for them now in this pure digital app world. But nevertheless, Carlsen produced a lot of apps and we were quite successful. We sold several 100,000 apps already, but if you see the price level, it is not the big business field of the future at the moment. So most of our turnover we still make with these physical printed books. So the idea is to combine old and new competencies and to change the arena. That is a marketing term, but you are fighting in an arena. So you can be better and better and better, but you also can change a little bit the arena, and maybe your competitors are not able to follow you, or the arena is becoming a different arena, and suddenly you are the only one in this arena, and then you have a real sustainable competitive advantage, I would say. So that is the idea which was driving us, to combine the book competencies we really have with our digital competencies, which we established over the last years. And the good thing with the book model is that we have a business model, a real established business model. And the other thing is that we have a distribution system which allows us to go very, very close to our customers because we have all these thousands of bookshops all over Germany, and we could deliver our products, which are now becoming digital in a way, directly to the customer. And that is much better than to hope that Apple is featuring your app maybe for 3 or 4 weeks. So you all know, I hope you know, the Carrera-Bahn in Germany. You know that? So it is a track, and you have physical cars on it, and they are running around this track, and you can compete each other, but always you have to stay in the track, and you can drive faster or slower, but nothing more. But it's fun, of course. And then came up all these apps, these racing apps like Need for Speed or something like that, and it's pure digital. You are only looking at your smartphone, and you can handle it, and it looks great, but it's nothing physical. And last or 2 years ago, the Anki Overdrive idea came up, and they produced a physical racing track with physical cars, but these cars have additional qualities or functions. And now you can do a normal car race like Carrera-Bahn, But you can add these additional functionalities, these qualities, and you can fight each other with weapons or something like that. One of my sons, luckily, wanted to have some of this new anti-overdrive tracks for his birthday, and it looks like this. So the cars are scanning the track, they know where they are, and then it starts, and you have all this sound in the background from your smartphone. So now the race has started, and the kids are dealing with their smartphones to turn the cars and to drive them. And they have this additional weapons, and that the car stopped was because of one of these weapons of one of my kids. So at the end, you can influence digitally or virtually a physical product, and it happens in physical reality afterwards. So maybe it became slower or something like that. And this idea is also realized in the leyo project, merging analog and digital worlds. And just to repeat it, if you look at the books, there are a lot of advantages. This opulent picture. So if you have a look at this is one of the leyo books. It is really, I would say, opulent. You never ever will have this image on a smartphone. So that's impossible because it's too small, it's too technical. You don't have this haptical experience, which is very, very important and which the people love. And the reliability, because something is printed into the book, is also there. And I talked about the distribution model and this business model, but all the other things you don't have interactivity, you can't get a feedback, you can't see what your customer is doing with the book. Is he reading it often or seldom? When he is reading the book, you don't see all these things. So we tried to establish a book series which is very similar to this car model as you saw before. And it looks like this now. That is the brand, it's leyo. We said a book plus a smartphone is leyo. It's an innovative picture book series which is enriched by digital enhancements via the leyo app, which is for free. You can download it very easily. And what for us is very important is that we don't have only a wow effect on our books, but we have a real concept. And that is a point, because 5 years ago, I already saw the first AR things, and some agencies showed it to me, and they said, hey, isn't that interesting for you? But we said, okay, if it is a wow effect, maybe you can use it in advertisements or somewhere, but if you want to read it and read it again, you need a concept. And the concept which we developed, and that's a real innovation, is the Multi-Hotspot Concept. So we not only scan one double page and then play one animation or something, we now have a lot of different hotspots all over the page, and you can hit each of them with a kind of viewfinder. So you don't have to do anything than to look through your camera or smartphone and hit a hotspot with this green circle you saw in the middle, and then these multimedia enhancements would start. And that we choose this technology is also a little bit looking into the future, because if you have a lens, you also only have to look at something. So this viewfinder idea will work also with HoloLens or something like that. And now I will show you some examples of different books. The first one is this. That is this is the double page. And my colleague is looking through our smartphone, and you have different moods. You can have X-ray mood or listen mood, and this is the interactive mood. You see how a leaf is falling from a tree, and this is, of course, a three-dimensional image, so you can walk around the tree and see it from every side. And this is also a picture directly done via the smartphone, and there you see the tree again. You know maybe the Pixie series. It's a very, very small book for 99 cents. And we also could enhance them, for example, in this way. This is a Pixie book about rockets or space, I don't know the word. And we could start the rocket now.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff.
So the rocket is starting, but it doesn't come out of the smartphone. We're also dealing with dinosaurs, because that is the thing which the young boys are interested in. And now you have the real sounds several million years ago. And you hear the sound. You can do it over your hi-fi Anlage, I don't know the word, and you have a real big sound. It's much better than maybe from these pencils you also know, as they are called chip toy. So now...
Bleib, wo du bist.
And this again is the three-dimensional object. And you can go very close and hear this dramatic voice of the dinosaur. This is more two-dimensional animation. It's about an airport. And you see one of the airplanes is coming from outside and landing.
Prima. Follow me. Das bedeutet, folge mir.
So you see it, this is glimmering, the light, the follow me light. And now you turn the page and then you see the next thing, again, a three-dimensional one. And you also see it's related to the book. So you turn the book and you see the other side of the airplane then. And we also created a book with monsters. I have it here. It's this one. So it's about a girl which is waking up in the night, and then she's thinking, oh, there are a lot of monsters. You know that if you have children, they see things in the darkness which aren't really there. But with the Leo app, you can show them, oh, it is not a monster, it's only a tree outside or something like that. So we developed this, my beloved monster book, I would say. And it looks like this. And this again is the interaction mode. And if you move an image away, you have to replace the part of the book, because normally you would see the former image at the same place. So you have to do it in a double way. You see the spider which is moving, and here, the woman is moving, but the sound is gone.
Dir lieber die Spinne.
It comes back.
Lass dazu das Symbol mit der Hand eingeschaltet.
Then you turn the page. It's only a second or a part of a second, and it is scanned again. And if it is shivering, it has to be scanned again, but now it's stable. So sometimes the tracker is a little bit shivering. And here, oh no, it's the wrong page. So he is going down at this moment. But you have to replace everything you wanted to move. And
Hey, lass das. Mir wird schwindelig.
Gleich hab ich dich.
that was inspired by this movie, Ghostbusters, I think so. Yeah. And then I thought about the idea to present it live, because we have a new book, but I won't do it. I will show you a film also. It's Instrumentanimals, something like that. And all over the book you will find these special animals, and I try to translate, but it is really nearly impossible. But I found a page. For example, here you see, in German we call special dogs Cocker Spaniel. Maybe you have heard about that. And this is now the Rocker Spaniel. So you change something in the word and it becomes another animal. And in this book you can hear all these new animals. And it looks like this now. It starts with a dromedary. And that's the beat bug. And that's the hip hopper. Do you know what it is? And now it comes to the Rocker Spaniel. Röhrenverstärker is really too difficult to translate. But these are names of guitars. Strato Cat, for example. Yeah.
Les Paul.
And yeah, the Rocker Spaniel is really great, I think. So, and we published already more than 20 books, and it looks like this. They are all in the market. The app is for free, and I think my time is already over. So, yeah, I have to stop at this point. So thank you very much for listening.